Hello, I'm Jack Wagner, NJIT class of 1974. I worked for IBM for 34 years, and after retirement, I taught at NJIT in the Martin Tuchman School of Management for 9 years. I have over 40 years of experience in the business and technology fields, and I'm really honored to be here with you today. I truly value the work that you do as Highlander student athletes on your field of play and across the campus. I've always wanted to have a class of all student athletes, and I'm glad to have this opportunity to talk to you today. Over the next few minutes, we're going to talk about resumes. And I know resumes sometimes bring a chill to many students, and it really shouldn't be viewed that way. A resume is just a part of the overall process of getting a job or an internship or moving on to a graduate school. It's a step, it's a necessary one, but you want to do it correctly. And keep in mind that it's just one of many steps. So we're going to talk about the elements of a resume today. So I guess the first thing I want to do is ask you a rhetorical question. How many of you want a career in sales and marketing? And I would suspect not everybody's going to raise their hand and say, yes, I want to get into sales. But in reality, all of you are going to be into sales because there's some important product that you have to sell, and that's yourself. And that's what a resume is all about. It's part of selling yourself. Now, a resume should include, like anything else, a sales campaign. You have to identify the opportunities. What is it you want to do? You have to understand the offering. And in this case, the offering is you. You have to understand yourself. And then you have to document yourself. That could be with your resume. It has to be in sync with your LinkedIn profile and any other things that you do. You have to market yourself, and you have to continually develop the product. In this case, the product is you. You have to continue to work on your skills, not only just as you leave NJIT, but an ongoing basis. So think of it as a resume is an advertisement about you. I used to ask students to tell me about yourself. And I would get some interesting responses. Several students said, well, can I use notes to do that? And I said, if you need to write it down, then there's something wrong with this process. So a resume should tell me about you. It should be a snapshot of who you are right now. Now, a resume, the objective of a resume is not to get a job. It's to generate interest, and it's to give others a positive impression about you. It's to seek out those opportunities and let people know you're out there. A resume is not an autobiography or a confessional. Now, some of the things that a resume should contain is a heading, your contact information, your address, your email address, your phone number, your LinkedIn URL, a job or personal objective. What is it you want to do? What is it you're trying to find out? What is it you're trying to get? Are you trying to get an internship? Are you trying to get a full-time job? A summary of your qualifications, a summary of your work experiences. And often I have students say, well, I worked in McDonald's for 4 years while I was at NJIT. And I'm going to leave that off because it's not relevant. Wrong. If you worked in McDonald's or Burger King or anywhere else, that tells me you have a positive work ethic. So I want to hear about it. Be net in these job descriptions. If you were a waiter or a car valet, just say you were a waiter or a car valet. Don't tell me, you picked bags up and took them to the room, and you picked people up and took them back to the car, or you took orders, you delivered orders. Everybody knows what a waiter or a valet does, or somebody who works in McDonald's. So you don't have to have 5 or 6 lines explaining what it is you did. I also want to know about your education, your skills and abilities. Very often I've had athletes hand me resumes, and it didn't have down that they were a Division I athlete at NJIT. That, again, wrong. I want to know that you were a Division I athlete. I want to know what team you were on, because that to me defines that you're a leader. You have time management skills. You have leadership skills. You understand how to be part of a team. And to me, that's an important factor. And all these things should also be reflected in your LinkedIn profile. Now, there's some things you shouldn't do in a resume. Number 1 is don't lie. Number 2 is don't make any mistakes. No typing errors, spelling errors, grammatical errors, because if I see that, I just turn off. If I've got a pile of resumes to look at, I'm going to look at the ones that are grammatically and spelling correct. Don't write references provided upon request. Just don't put that in there at all. Don't use I did this or me did this or my accomplishments, talk in the third party. And don't have any gaps. Don't have, 4 years of your life are missing without defining what happened during those 4 years. A lot of people lie on resumes. Don't do that. They lie about what college they graduated from, former employment, degrees, foreign languages. And there's a thing called zombie resumes, where you make up stories that sound like something out of a zombie apocalypse. In other words, I'm a multitasking, cross-functional people person and a fast learner. Last summer, I had an internship at Prudential in Newark, and I raised the profitability of the company by 50%. Those sound like, lines taken out of, resumes for dummies. Just leave that kind of crap out of the resume. Now, from mechanics, a lot of people say a resume has to be 1 page. That's not true, but it shouldn't be 20 pages, maybe 1 or 2. If you print it out and hand it to somebody, make sure it's on clean, heavy grade paper, no artwork or graphics on the page, and use common electronic format, a Word document or a PDF. I've gotten resumes in some kind of bizarre Apple format, and I don't have an Apple, so I can't read them. As a summary, get started. Try it out. You should have multiple resumes, but right now, put together a base one. Be truthful and honest. Remember, you are selling yourself, and give yourself the credit you deserve. I've provided detailed documents that are available on the Kilted Club Network, PowerPoint presentation about a workshop resume, some recent resumes from NJIT student athletes, and some articles on writing resumes. It's not as scary as it seems, but just think about, you're selling yourself. So you have to understand yourself, and you have to understand what you want. As I've said to all of my students through the years, you can always call on me for assistance. I would be pleased to work with you on an individual basis and review your resumes as you continue to develop them. I wish you the best on the field and across the campus, and thank you for your time.